Section 22, we're going to look at adding and subtracting vectors in 2 or 3 dimensions using their components. So example 1, let's say we've got a vector with components 5, 1, minus 2, and a vector v which has got components 2, minus 3, minus 1. They're going to look at finding u plus v. So adding vectors is easy in component form, so it's just 5, 1, minus 2 plus 2, minus 3, minus 1. So it's quite intuitive, it's just 5 plus 2 is 7, 1 plus minus 3 is minus 2 plus minus 1 is minus 3. Okay, example 2, we've got a vector A in 2 dimensions this time, 0, minus 3. A vector B, which is minus 2, 4. And we're going to find the components of A plus 2B. Well, A is just 0, minus 3. And we're adding on 2 lots of the vector B minus 2, 4. So that's 0, minus 3. Add 2 lots of minus 2 is minus 4. 2 lots of 4 is 8. So again, just add these together. 0 plus minus 4 is minus 4. And minus 3 plus 8 is 5. So the resultant vector A plus 2B is minus 4, 5. Okay, example 3. This time we've got a vector Q, which is minus 1, minus 3, and a vector T, which is 3, 5. Now what we're going to look at now is finding the magnitude of the vector T minus Q. So the 2 vertical lines indicate that I'm going to find magnitude. Just as a quick aside, magnitude of a vector is easy. For example, in 2D, if you've got a vector A which has got components CD, then the magnitude of A is just equal to the square root of C squared plus D squared. We can extend that on to 3 dimensions. So if there's a vector B which has got components E, F, G, then the magnitude of B will just be the square root of E squared plus F squared plus G squared. So we're looking for the magnitude of T minus Q. So we need to first of all find the resultant vector T minus Q. So the vector T is 3, 5. And we're going to subtract the vector Q, which is minus 1, minus 3. So 3 minus minus 1 is 4. 5 minus minus 3 is 8. So that's the vector. Now we're going to find the magnitude. So it's the square root of 4 squared plus 8 squared. This question typically moves from being a vector question into potentially a surds question to simplify the surd in its simplest form. So that's what we're going to do. Square root of 14, 4 squared is 16, 8 squared is 64, so the square root of 16 plus 64, which is the square root of 80. Now typically that question might say simplify the surd in its simplest form. So with the square root of 80 that we're going to simplify, if we look through the list of square numbers between 1 and 100, first 10 square numbers, we can take out 16. So that's 16 times, take your time, but 16 multiplied by 5 will give you 80. So it's the square root of 16 multiplied by the square root of 5. Square root of 16 is 4. 4 root of 5.